Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be right back with today's tech guest, but we also want to thank our partners, We Coach, and the global community of women in high school sports. Go to wecoachsports.org. And for the global community, go to the global community of women in sports.com. These are two great organizations that you should be a part of. We Coach and the global community of women in high school sports. Now, let's hear from our sponsors. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing for their support of the podcast. Go to hometownticketing.com and you'll find that they will show you how to set up and sell your tickets online, how to scan the attendees that come to your game, how to collect your revenue, and every step of the way, you're going to have a dedicated client success manager that provides hands-on support. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll show you how to set up and sell tickets digitally for things like school dances, school plays, concerts, even graduation. That's hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports, and over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes perform better. As a high school football coach, I used Huddle for years. And as an athletic director, our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the mobile apps, the smart cameras. Of course, they love the analytics, but there's so much more. Huddle has the tools to help every team, every athlete, every coach do better. Go to huddle.com and you're going to find a professional grade solution. And it's also good for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools, colleges, and the pros. We believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users, including the coaches of the college teams you're trying to get your kids recruited to, and go to huddle.com. That's huddle.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve every aspect of your athletic department. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also connects you with the 95% of the parents and the student athletes that really love your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a quality athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Snap Raise. Go to snapraise.com or go to OnSnap, that's onsnap.com, and check out their platform. From a fundraising perspective, SnapRaise is just fantastic. Our coaches use SnapRaise and they loved it. And as an athletic director, I loved it too. There's no upfront cost, your data is secure, and it works. Choosing the best fundraiser for you and your group is critical, and you can put the SnapRaise digital fundraising difference to work for you. It's easy, it's safe. They even have a platform for you to get your money before you even start raising money. And SnapRaise has helped schools just like yours raise thousands and thousands of dollars. Grow your program with SnapRaise. Go to snapraise.com or onsnap.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device and without needing any design experience. That's Gipper.com. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast. And that's Gipper.com. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast and get 10% off with the podcast code ADPOD10. That's ADPOD10. Go to Gipper.com, start creating custom branded content for your school's social media channel. Gipper.com. And we want to thank Final Forms for their support. As an athletic director, Final Forms can help your parents and your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility, with reminders about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that a parent gets when you've got an athlete in the house. Final Forms can also help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help you with eligibility and rosters and all the reports that come across your desk. It's time for you to talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. We also want to say thank you to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. They're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They've got a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an entire library of templates to help recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, and go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You can also email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. And we want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor scoring tables and video boards. We've got a Sideline Interactive indoor scoring table in our gym, and it's just fantastic. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. It's tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just fantastic. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also call them at 832-786-0302. That's sidelineinteractive.com.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast and another edition of Tech Tuesday. Our guest today is Kim Johnson. Kim is with Snap Raise, one of our great sponsors, and she's the Director of Product and Customer Journey. We've had a couple of representatives from Snap Raise join us in the past, but it's a big platform. They offer a lot. Kim's going to share a little bit with us today, but Kim Johnson, welcome to Tech Tuesday.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh yeah, well we're excited. You and I were talking a little bit before we came on. As I shared, our audience is primarily athletic directors. So, share if you can, maybe a little bit of your history,
Sure.
and also why should athletic directors, and athletic directors you should be, but why should an athletic director be interested in getting in touch with Snap Raise?
Great. So my background prior to 2010 was in corporate America. Then in 2011, I had some individuals I knew in the athletic space that wanted me to come and take a look at this company that was built in Illinois called Athletics 2000. They had just been purchased by A218. So my company, prior to the acquisition by Snap Mobile here in April, was really with A218, and we were a comprehensive athletic management solution tool for high school athletic directors. So for the last 10 years, I've been very engaged in this business, really loved sports. I was not an athlete. I did coach for 1 year for my daughters. My daughters were athletes through junior high and high school. So I was one of those parents that was very involved and part of the booster board members for a number of years to really engage to make sure the kids were getting what they needed. So coming over here and helping A218 with what they needed to do to scale outside of Illinois, because it was built in Illinois by athletic directors, it was really exciting for me. So hence 10 years, bring it up today till April of 2022, and we were acquired by Snap Raise, Snap Mobile as the parent company. And that's an exciting time for us, because what we really provide under the previous 8 to 18 product platform is really tools that help athletic administrators manage their day-to-day tasks. Most people don't even understand all the things that an athletic director has to do, right? There's just so many things, a lot of mundane tasks that they have to do. So we really try to provide a platform to help them manage that a little bit, be a little bit more efficient, maybe more effective. So it was a very exciting time for me to be able to take my knowledge of everything that we've been doing and bring it over to the SNAP side. And one of the things that we found out during the acquisition is how many customers were 8 to 18 and SNAP fundraising customers. So it was a really good fit for us. And with SNAP Manage, we're a comprehensive athletic platform for administrators. We provide a scheduling software. And again, when you're scheduling events and practices and games, you don't think about all the other things that have to go along with that, like the logistics of a game. Do I have my buses? Do I have my transportation assigned? Do I have my workers and officials and reminders going out to those individuals? Do I have my workers for those games? So all the things that go along with the logistics of a game or practices or meetings that those athletic directors have, we manage all that through our scheduling software for them. In addition, they all have to manage the compliance and paperwork for their student athletes and activities. Many athletic directors are also responsible for activities. So our online registration platform allows them to eliminate all the paperwork they get either through summer camp registration, seasonal driver eds, booster membership, anything that they can have parents register online for and pay through a payment portal. They can do all that through our registration platform. Coaches have easy access to it for tryout lists and managing the rosters and then managing that communication, which we all know, and it was especially seen after COVID, how critical communication to those stakeholders are. And we do that by then bringing all of that together for the athletic administrators to be able to post that to their website. Every coach has their individual website team pages. We all know that parents want to be able to see scores, results, photos of their kids, rosters, all of that critical information that you want parents to know to avoid those calls coming into the office. So you bring all those together and under the SNAP Manage umbrella, and that's really what we're doing. We're offering the ability to provide those exceptional tools to be able to manage all the tasks that they have to manage. In addition to things like equipment inventory, league keeper program, where you're trying to manage a full conference and all their standings by sport and by division. Again, all things that they might have to do in multiple places, other individuals within their office might have to do in different places as well. We bring that all together under one platform. Many are and can be bundled as a solution, but where there's a need for a tool separate, so if somebody just wants to do registration separately for camps or their activity registrations or seasonal, but not use the scheduling software, they can. It's a standalone platforms, but obviously it works really better when they're all merged, together as an integrated offering. So we really look at what we're doing today, and now with, again, being part of the SNAP mobile family, we're able to do a lot more. It just sinks right into some of the products that some of my colleagues were talking to you a couple of weeks ago around fundraising and early access to those funds as well.
Wow. As I've shared before, at the school I was at before I retired, we had a number of our coaches use the fundraising platform,
right?
And it was very successful. For the other, aspects of the SNAP platform, I know in Florida and I know in a couple other states too, high schools through their membership with the state association, they're sometimes required to use certain platforms to report scores and things like that. How well does, the SNAP platform, integrate with these other, let's say, required platforms that a school might have to use?
Well, today, not as well as it should, but now part of, to be honest and be transparent, one of the things that we have, to our audiences now, we have the ability to be able to take and scale and be able to go to those state organizations, which we are, to say, hey, if there are certain organizations that need to have scores reported or information imported into their systems, it's very easy for us to create an API that will go into those systems to allow athletic directors to enter it in one place and then have those systems feed elsewhere. But one of my goals, again, in regards to our product side, is that we've been able to react very quickly to training and educating the Snap engineers and the developers to really take a look at what we have and figure out how to take it to the next level. And then how do we make sure we're working with all of the organizations that, whether it be a state association, we have good relationships with many of those, but other organizations like, those that have to have scores reported and things like that, how do we integrate with them to make sure that our customers, which are our schools with our high school athletic directors or any other athletic director level, they can make their jobs easier, right? If you input it in one place, it should really help feed across the board, across other platforms. So that is really one of the goals that we have moving forward very quickly.
Right. And again, I get it. I know the landscape is
Yeah.
changing. And I do want to emphasize, my experience with SnapRaise as an athletic director from my coaches using the fundraising platform, it was just fantastic. I cannot recommend it, highly enough. Kim, your title, you talk about product and customer journey. I'm going to guess that you have occasion to talk with athletic directors that are using the platform. What are some of the questions, or let's say challenges? They'll call you up, Kim, this isn't working, or how do I do this? What are some of the common success stories that you can share with our listeners?
Sure. And one of the things, titles can be very misleading. So prior to coming over to the Snap managed side, at A218, I did everything. I sold new business. I onboarded new business. I really managed everything under the A218 umbrella. And I was very, very fortunate to be able to work with athletic directors every day, their administrative assistants. I think you asked one of my colleagues on a call prior, who their mentors were. Well, one of the mentors that I had within the A218 umbrella was Mike Morris. So Mike Morris is very engaged with the, Illinois. He's the executive director for the Illinois Association of Directors, really active, engaged, obviously, for the NIAAA. And one of the administrative assistants, Virginia Nelson, she was a retired athletic secretary. So they really taught me what an athletic director wants, how they think, what they need, and to keep it simple. I won't use the last, but it is, if you don't make it easy, they're not going to use it. So right. You have to make the technology very, very simple. So I worked with Mike for, probably the last 7 years through my career. And, all of that comes in to play every day as far as we think about that. So I work with athletic directors every day. I still talk to the administrative assistants every day, looking at what they need, why they need it, so I can understand that. We've had really a lot of success with having advisory board members where they come in and they tell us, on a twice a year basis, what's working well, what they would love to see. And we've been very nimble. And I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of, is that our service is great. We have a great support system, but also we're very nimble in order to, for some of those minor adjustments that they need tweaked, we can do that pretty quickly. Now with more resources and more engineering, we're going to be able to really take our platforms to the next level for these athletic directors and their assistants. But when I talk to them and I listen to what they're doing today, because that's one of the first questions I ask, well, how are you managing all of this today? And they can share with me, well, I'm doing this here, this there. And I'm like, okay, so how would you like to do that all in one place, all in one screen, and not have to navigate to multiple places to go for each of those each individual tasks? And that's really showing them the value of how to provide more efficiency in their day, reducing the time they spent tracking all those tasks, going to multiple platforms to do that. So I hear all the customer feedback. I love listening to the customers, because without their feedback, we're really nothing, right? We have a tool, but if it doesn't work for them and we don't take it to the next level with what they're asking for, they'll find something else. So most of the time, it's really the value that we do. I mean, we have a tool that works. It gives them all their information in one place. It manages all the logistics of, from a scheduling side, but then you think about the registration. that is a huge time saver for many people. It's your stakeholders of your athletic director, your administrative assistant, managing those mounds and mounds of paperwork and physical reminders and communication, and then your parents and then your boosters. So we try to make sure that we're touching all of their stakeholders and trying to find easy ways for all of them to have a really good customer journey with the products and the solutions that we offer them.
Yeah, again, I love your point about making it easy. That's what athletic directors are trying to do for their coaches. And so, speaking as an
Right.
AD, we don't want something, we're trying to get away from the time suck. We don't need to add something that's going to, create more challenges for us. Um, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but to maybe just illustrate, can you think of an example where you were talking to an AD or administrative assistant and you helped them overcome that challenge that they called you up? Can you think of one?
Oh, sure. I mean, when I'm talking to, new schools that we've been talking with lately to bring them on, again, just asking a couple questions like what's your biggest challenge during the day? Where are you managing all of these tasks? How are you communicating with your parents? And they talk about, well, we're using this tool here to send out communications. I'm using an Excel spreadsheet, or I'm using this platform to do my scheduling. I'm using this for registration. And I was like, okay, so how can we bring all that together? And all those platforms, when you bring them together, right? So we had an athletic director the other day say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know we could utilize the bus transportation in the system. Now I can put my buses in there. My bus director can just log into the system with their access, look at what buses are assigned to what events, run the bus report, print it out, and then they can also export that data right out of the manage platform and import it into their bus system. So saving them steps of having to enter things in multiple places. And that's really where they see that value. But then also really, if you think about the biggest thing for the athletic office as well, is they can do all these things, but if they do not communicate that to their parent or their community members, so what? It's that important to make sure that all the things that they're doing. So if a game gets canceled or rescheduled or postponed, how do they get that message out? So they can do that. Everything goes directly to a website. That website has all of their schedules, all of the results. Again, trying to eliminate calls from parents, but also it's really just making sure that everybody knows where they should be, what's happening. And then we also give them a place, again, sponsorships for schools. Sponsorships are huge, right? You want to give those sponsors the appropriate credit and recognition. And we launched a sponsorship program halfway through last year and really kicked it off this year, where schools can, on their websites, they can purchase those placements, and that's their space to promote their sponsors, thank them, roll in and out of different sponsors, who they want to promote at what season time. Do their boosters want to put up messages for those parents? Again, that communication being so critical. So, things like having administrative assistants say this has been a lifesaver to be able to manage the paperwork, know when the physicals are expiring. You put the onus back on the parents for physical reminders, and then just notifying them for those small little tasks, like who hasn't paid for a registration yet, right? So those reminders are automatically generated out of the systems in order to avoid those administrative leaders of having to go and say, okay, now what do I got to do? I have to remind these people about this. I have to remind the parents about that. It's all done through the integrated communication platforms through each one of those systems.
Wow, great, great stuff. Speaking of helping, if one of our listeners, wanted to reach out, find out more about the platform, or maybe even pick your brain a little bit, what's the
Sure.
best way that they can get a hold of you, and how can they find out more about Snap Raise and On Snap?
Well, then contact me, Kim Johnson. So it's kim.johnson@snapraise.com. I'd be happy to, talk about the program, share a quick overview of the programs and how it would benefit them. Again, my whole goal is to make sure they see the value of what it brings to them and what it can do to benefit them and their all their stakeholders. And I'd be happy to talk to all of them. So give me a shout.
Okay. And then the website is snapraise.com.
Snapraise.com. Right.
Okay. Kim Johnson, thanks so much for sharing with our listeners today, and all the best. Are we going to see you at the NIAAA conference in Nashville?
I sure will. I'll be there.
All right. I will definitely be stopping by the booth. And for listeners, I encourage you to do that. Find out more about this great platform. So, Kim Johnson from SnapRaise, thanks so much for being with us, and
My
all the
pleasure.
best
Thank you.
moving forward.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Jake.
For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of all these interviews get uploaded to our podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back next Tuesday for another Tuesday Tech Tip, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next week. We want to thank our sponsors one more time before we go. Let's say thanks to Sideline Interactive Indoor Scoring Tables and Video Boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, or you can email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. They're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your team's school record boards or your Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their variety of interactive touchscreen consoles and templates to help recognize the athletic achievements of your students. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility, and they've got reminders for parents about policies and physicals. Final Forms can help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help you with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. It's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, see how ADs are creating world-class marketing content for their school social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. That's Gipper.com. Use the podcast code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. Gipper.com. Start creating world-class marketing content. You just heard from SnapRaise, and we encourage you to go to snapraise.com. Find out how their fundraising platform can help you. There's no upfront cost. Your data is secure. There's even a program where you can get your funds before you fundraise. Choosing the best fundraiser is a big step, and you can put the SnapRaise digital fundraising difference to work for you and your school. It's easy, it's safe, and it works. Our coaches use SnapRaise, and it was just fantastic. And if you go to snapraise.com, you can check out the thousands and thousands of dollars that they have helped schools just like yours raise using SnapRaise. That's snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. They sponsor the Athletic Director Toolbox segment on our regular podcast. Go to athleticsurveys.com or check out or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. We use surveys at our school for just about everything, for parents, for kids, for coaches, and the information that came back was almost always positive, and it will be for you too. But the surveys also allow your parents to vent a little bit, and many times they'll share a small issue that you can take care of and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes perform better. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an athletic director, our school was a Huddle school. And Huddle has tools that can help every team, every coach, every athlete improve and play at the highest level. Go to huddle.com and you're going to find a professional grade analysis and solution for your department. At Huddle, we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Go to huddle.com for more information. And we want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. They're going to show you how to sell your tickets, scan your attendees that come, collect your revenue. That's certainly important. And every step of the way, you'll have a dedicated client success manager providing hands-on support. If you go to hometownticketing.com, they'll also show you how to set up and sell tickets for things like school dances, school plays, concerts, even graduation. Hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. Thanks again for listening to this week's edition of Tech Tuesday. Before we go, we do want to thank our partners, We Coach and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. These are two fantastic organizations that you should be a part of. Go to wecoachsports.org. And for the global community, go to the Global Community of Women in Sports.com. Once again, We Coach and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. Thanks for listening to Tech Tuesday. We'll see you next week and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. Have a great day.